it's hard not to favor Liverpool in this one. But this could be, what's weird is I think about Christian Pulisic's dad's tweet, and I think about the fact that Christian Pulisic scored again last weekend, and I think about the fact that Charlie had mentioned Ricardo Pepi in that final game of the season of like, this could be that moment, or one, a sign from the club, but two, talking about coming out parties. This could be another big moment for Christian Pulisic going back to Champions League final a year ago, where he can have a moment to shine. And I do think he could potentially get the start in this game. I think he will. I don't think he will. I'm just hoping he does get the start in this game. But it could be one of those moments where you're heading now into the offseason, into the national team games with the world of attention on you, which is a final of a major tournament, and an opportunity to show, one, that he's either surplus to plans or that he's good enough to go play somewhere else.
Let's stop right there, because Todd Bowley, an American, bought the club. Christian ain't going nowhere.
I don't think he's going anywhere either. I think if they maybe got an owner from a different country.
Well, that's really sad, because he loves the city and he loves the team and he loves the fans, guys.
Yeah. But now with the new ownership group that's being led, or at least the forward facing, will be an American kind of, going in the owner's box and all that good stuff. I don't think they're going to let him go either. Christian, though.
Yeah, well, an ownership group owns Augsburg, so Ricardo Pepi's not leaving either, guys.
That's most likely true. We had Christian score a very good goal against Leeds in his last game, had an assist against Wolves. Lukaku's got 3 goals in his last 2 games. I think that, and Tuchel has shown that he will go with a hot hand. And I think that Pulisic and Lukaku will both start in this particular game. I think it'd be weird not to, given the form that they're in. I do want to throw out there that Chelsea got to the FA Cup final last year and gave up a screamer to Yuri Tielemans in the 63rd minute. Christian Pulisic did not start that game. He came on 5 minutes after that goal was scored. And coincidence that they lost? I think not. So Thomas Tuchel, you got to learn from the past, buddy. You got to start Christian Pulisic. He seems to be up for these types of opportunities and scoring in big games, and I think he knows what's at stake. I think that Christian will be ready to go for this. I do think that he'll start. I think it's going to be Lukaku with Mason Mount and Christian Pulisic are my front 3. I wonder about N'Golo Kante. Obviously, that guy drives so much of the game on both sides of the ball for Chelsea. If he doesn't play, they're just not the same. Kovacic got hurt in the past game against Leeds, so that hurts them a bit in terms of options as Jorginho's working back from injury. If Pulisic starts, I mean, where do you want to see him? I guess just kind of in the same spot that he is on the left side, kind of cutting in and finding the gaps to do what he wants. Yeah, Charlie, what do you think?
Yeah, it has to be. That's the space where he typically is isolated 1v1, and he has much more freedom. It's where you want him. I mean, because he can come inside and combine, and typically you're playing with Lukaku or Mason Mount, and those players take up two, some cases 3 players. There's more room for him to combine and play 1-2s. He's not the focus when Liverpool are defending. They're not just focusing on Christian Pulisic. That's not the one player they're trying to shut down, which plays to his advantage because he's not man marked throughout the game.
Do you remember in the pandemic where
say pandemic again? Say that again.
I said pandemic. When Chelsea traveled to Anfield to play Liverpool, there's no fans in the stands, but Pulisic came on as a sub and absolutely ate up Trent Alexander-Arnold, like ate him up. So much so that Jurgen Klopp was shaking his head, because Jurgen Klopp coached him at Dortmund, going, yeah, this kid is amazing. I mean, he was just in awe of what Christian did in that particular game.
This is the World Cup preview. We've talked about that matchup.
That matchup is key. It really is. And I wonder, I don't think Trent Alexander-Arnold will start that game. I think it'll be a Kyle Walker or a Reece James, but in the World Cup, that is. But in this particular game, Christian versus Trent Alexander-Arnold is a good matchup, because he's had success, because he's crafty, because Trent doesn't really like to defend 1v1 or maybe even defend overall. He'll do it, but he likes to go forward. And also conversely, this is a good opportunity for Christian to maybe help out defensively and show that he can maybe be that first line of defense to force the play one way, so that makes it easier for everybody else behind him. So this is a big test for Christian in a lot of different ways.
By the way, that's what's different between Fabinho and Naby Keita. It changes the way in which Alexander-Arnold has to play as well, in terms of freedom to just be up, knowing that you have coverage and quality or possession of the ball that gets you into good spots, versus, Naby Keita, which is just, it changes the whole dynamic of this Liverpool side. That I think you're spot on there with that matchup between Arnold and hopefully Pulisic.
Okay, so predictions. Let's do predictions. Charlie, what do you think the score is going to be in this one? And will Christian Pulisic hit the back of the net?
3-1 Liverpool.
Wow. Charlie just said, Chelsea, thanks for coming. I wonder if Thomas Tuchel stays. What's your prediction?
Honestly, I think it's going to go to extra time as usual. I think these are cagey affairs, and I think it's going to be 1-1 at the end of regulation and a pretty boring game, just like it was in the League Cup. And
but that was a pretty good 0-0 League Cup final, by the way.
It was. I mean, it was just that wasn't boring. It was just like it was played differently than a normal. It had a different. It had a weird pace to it that was just kind of a little bit lackadaisical. But I'm going to say that Liverpool pull this out probably in extra time or in penalties.
Yeah, I think Liverpool are going to win as well, but I think Liverpool win in regulation if N'Golo Kante doesn't start. But if N'Golo Kante starts, I think he's that influential to the team, part of the glue there. If he doesn't start, or if he does start, then I think it goes into extra time and Liverpool will figure out a way to get the result. I agree with Charlie. I don't think they're going to win the league, Liverpool, but I do think they'll end up winning the only trophy that Klopp has yet to win for the Reds.